Now, some breaking news on our main story tonight, the Senate vote on the impeachment trial of President Trump. Let's go back to our Washington correspondent, Siobhan Kennedy. Siobhan.
Well, John, in the last 15 minutes or so, Senator Mitt Romney of Utah, a Republican but a known foe of President Trump, has said that he will vote to convict the president on the first charge of impeachment, abuse of power, namely that he did use the power of his office, President Trump, to try to pressure the president of Ukraine to launch an investigation into the Bidens, while at the same time holding that key military aid. Now, it's a tough decision for Mr. Romney. He knows he will face big backlash, but he said, I think the case was made. I believe that attempting to corrupt an election to maintain power is about as egregious an assault on the Constitution that can be made. And he continued, I have no choice under the oath that I took but to express that conclusion. Now, Mr. Romney won't convict Donald Trump on the second charge, obstruction of Congress. And of course, just one Republican alone, assuming no one else votes the same way, cannot remove Donald Trump. It would take 20 Republicans in total to do so, and that will not happen today. But the Democrats, at least, John, will be pleased that one Republican has at least had in their minds the courage to finally make a stand.
Siobhan, thank you indeed. And joining us now from Los Angeles is the political commentator and pollster, Frank Luntz. Frank, do you side with Siobhan there in saying that this is a one-off and it's highly unlikely any other Democrat senator will join the fray? A Republican senator will join the fray.
Well, I've been looking at the names are difficult for the British audiences because they won't be familiar with them. But there's one other Republican, Susan Collins. She has in the past voted against the administration. It does not look like she will do so this time. And on the Democratic side, there are two senators, one from West Virginia and one from Alabama, who've said that they were undecided. I believe that they, in the end, will vote for impeachment. This is going to be a party line vote. This has not surprised anyone. But I will tell you this, America is more polarized, more divided, more angry with each other than they have been at any point in my political lifetime. People want to get revenge against both sides, and we are going to have a very ugly, horrible election season.
Well, that takes us neatly to Iowa, where there's a great anger with an app, not actually with any particular politician. But what's your reading of what has actually happened there now?
Well, it's just another nail in the coffin of the American electoral democracy and perceptions of it having failed. We had issues of voter suppression, issues of voter corruption, and now we have even an election that has failed. And I read the statement of the Democratic National Chairman, who says that our primary mission is to defeat Donald Trump. The primary mission of the Iowa caucus is to give Democrats the chance to vote, the chance to be heard, the chance to exercise their democratic responsibilities. And that has failed. And I'll tell you, for the long term, I'm willing to bet you right now that this will be the last Democratic caucus, last Republican caucus that Iowa will hold to kick off the American political process. In terms of campaigns, it denies Mayor Pete from Indiana, and it denies Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont, the chance to declare victory, and it saves former Vice President Joe Biden from having to explain why he likely finished fourth.
So does that actually mean Buttigieg has actually had it now, that he has no chance really of going forward?
He does have a chance, but he needed this victory. And on Monday night, there were more reporters in his campaign event than any other candidate. But they've long since left Iowa. They've all camped out in New Hampshire now. And even though he will get a small bounce from it, it'll make it very difficult for him. But the bigger picture is that there are 4 candidates now who are going to be collecting delegates, and Mike Bloomberg, who is focused on Super Tuesday, which happens March 3rd. It is fascinating to watch the Democratic primary process because it is going to become harder and harder to get a majority when you have 4 viable candidates, all of them staying in the race and seeking the nomination.
Frank, in a sentence, can Trump be beaten?
I believe Trump can be beaten. I believe that it's 50-50. In fact, up until about 30 days ago, I believe that Trump was actually on the 49 side of the 51-49. But his State of the Union response, even though the media has been negative in what they've covered, our focus group of 25 voters in California said that he was surprisingly less partisan than they were expecting. He did not attack Democrats. His favorability on the economy, which is always the most important issue in a presidential campaign, his favorability is at an all-time high as we sit here right now. So he does have a shot of getting reelected.